What if I told you real wasabi doesn't need a mountain stream to grow? Most people think it only grows in cold rivers in Japan, which is why restaurants charge $80 to $120 per kilogram. But small Japanese growers produce it in backyard spaces by recreating a cool, shaded ecosystem, the mountain habitat. Here's what most people miss about wasabi. In nature, it doesn't grow in open fields like most vegetables. Wasabi evolved in cool mountain valleys of Japan, usually along shaded streams where temperatures remain stable year-round. These areas are protected by dense forest canopies that filter sunlight and keep the environment humid and cool. The water flowing through these valleys is clean and constantly moving. This prevents stagnation while keeping plant roots consistently moist. Temperatures in these habitats usually stay between 8 degrees Celsius and 20 degrees Celsius, which is the ideal range for wasabi growth. Japanese farmers who grow wasabi in small gardens understand that the plant itself isn't difficult. The environment is. Instead of forcing the plant to adapt to the garden, they design the garden to mimic the natural mountain ecosystem. Once those conditions are recreated, even a small backyard can support healthy wasabi plants. The shade system. Direct sunlight is one of the fastest ways to damage a wasabi plant. In the wild, these plants grow under the protection of tall trees where only filtered light reaches the leaves. Japanese farmers recreate this environment by building shade systems that block 70 to 80% of direct sunlight. Traditionally, bamboo screens or woven mats were used to filter the light. Today, many backyard growers use shade cloth stretched over simple wooden frames. This shading serves several purposes. First, it prevents the leaves from burning during hot days. Second, it keeps soil temperatures cooler so the roots remain stable. And third, it slows moisture loss from the soil surface. Think about it. When the sun constantly hits exposed soil, water evaporates quickly and plants struggle to stay hydrated. But when shade protects the bed, the soil remains cooler and moisture stays available for much longer periods. This simple change creates the calm, forest-like environment wasabi needs to grow successfully. Temperature control. Wasabi is extremely sensitive to heat. While many vegetables tolerate warm summer temperatures, wasabi begins to struggle when temperatures rise above 25 degrees Celsius, 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Japanese farmers solve this problem by carefully selecting where they place their wasabi beds. In backyard gardens, the best locations are often north-facing areas, shaded corners near walls or spaces beneath trees. Some growers also build beds using stone or gravel, materials that help regulate temperature. These materials absorb heat slowly and release it gradually, preventing sudden temperature spikes that could stress the plants. Another common technique is planting wasabi near areas where water flows slowly through the garden. Moving water cools the surrounding air and soil, creating a more stable microclimate. By controlling temperature this way, farmers protect the plant from one of its biggest threats and maintain the cool conditions necessary for steady growth. The traditional wasabi bed. This is where Japanese farmers design the system differently from most backyard gardens. Instead of planting wasabi directly in ordinary garden soil, they build specialized beds. These beds manage both drainage and moisture. Traditional wasabi beds are layered systems. The bottom layer usually contains large stones. These stones allow water to move freely through the bed. Above this sits a layer of gravel, then a layer of coarse sand. Finally, a thin layer of organic soil. This is where the plants grow. This structure creates an ideal balance. Water drains easily through the stones and gravel. This prevents root rot, but the sand and soil layers retain enough moisture, so the plant can access water. The result is a bed that stays constantly damp. At the same time, it provides oxygen around the roots. That balance is crucial. Wasabi thrives in moist environments, but it suffers if the roots stay in stagnant water. Over time, these beds create a stable environment. This supports healthy root development, constant moisture, without waterlogging. Wasabi plants require consistent moisture, but there is an important difference. Moist soil is healthy. Waterlogged soil is dangerous. When water sits around the roots without movement, oxygen levels drop. The roots then begin to rot. Japanese farmers solve this challenge with slow and steady watering systems. In traditional mountain farms, water flows gently through shallow channels. These channels surround the plants. The water moves slowly through the bed. This keeps the soil damp. At the same time, oxygen can still reach the roots. In backyard gardens, similar results can be achieved. Growers often use drip irrigation systems. Some use slow-release watering lines. These systems deliver water gradually. They avoid flooding the soil all at once. Mulch also plays an important role. Organic materials like straw, leaves, or compost are spread across the soil. These layers help retain moisture. They also protect the soil from direct sunlight. This might sound simple, but the difference is significant. Gardens with steady moisture grow stronger plants. They also experience fewer disease problems. The plants never face extreme drying, and the soil never becomes excessively saturated. The clean water. Secret water quality plays a surprisingly important role in successful wasabi farming. Wasabi plants are extremely sensitive to contaminated or chemically treated water. In Japan, many traditional farms rely on natural spring water, flowing down from mountain sources. This water is clean, oxygen-rich, and naturally cool, making it ideal for wasabi cultivation. Backyard growers who want similar results often collect rainwater or use filtered water systems. Avoiding heavily chlorinated tap water can significantly improve plant health. Clean water protects the delicate roots and prevents the buildup of harmful substances in the soil. Over time, this leads to stronger plants and more consistent rhizome development. When farmers pay attention to water quality, they remove one of the hidden stresses that can limit wasabi growth. Plant spacing strategy. Another key detail is proper plant spacing. Wasabi leaves can grow large and wide, which means plants require enough space to allow good air circulation. Unlike many garden vegetables that stay compact, mature wasabi plants develop broad leaves that spread outward, creating a dense canopy above the soil. Japanese farmers typically space plants 30 to 45 centimeters apart. This spacing allows the leaves to expand fully without overcrowding neighboring plants. At first glance, this may look like wasted space, especially in a small garden. However, this distance is carefully calculated to keep plants healthy throughout their long growth cycle. Good airflow is extremely important because it reduces humidity around the leaves, preventing fungal diseases that can damage crops. When plants grow too closely together, moisture remains trapped between the leaves, creating ideal conditions for disease. Wasabi is particularly sensitive to fungal infections, which can spread quickly in crowded beds. Proper spacing also ensures that each plant receives enough nutrients and filtered light. Instead of competing aggressively with neighboring plants, each plant develops strong leaves and a healthy rhizome beneath the soil. The leaves act as small solar panels, capturing light and converting it into energy for root development. Farmers also pay attention to the direction of planting rows. In many traditional gardens, beds are aligned so that airflow moves naturally between plants as breezes pass through the garden. This simple design reduces humidity and keeps the environment balanced. Another benefit of proper spacing is easier maintenance. Farmers can monitor each plant individually, quickly spotting problems such as damaged leaves or signs of disease. Early detection allows them to remove affected plants before problems spread to the rest of the bed. This simple spacing strategy dramatically improves the overall health of the crop. By giving each plant enough room to grow and breathe, farmers create a stable environment where wasabi can develop slowly and consistently. The 2-year growth cycle. One reason wasabi is so valuable is that it grows very slowly. Unlike many vegetables that mature in a few months, wasabi typically requires 18 to 24 months to develop a harvestable rhizome. This long growth period is one of the reasons authentic wasabi remains rare and expensive. During this time, the plant focuses on building strong leaves and a thick underground stem. The leaves capture sunlight and send energy down into the rhizome, gradually increasing its size and flavor. Because the plant grows slowly, maintaining stable conditions throughout this entire period is essential. Japanese farmers understand that patience is one of the most important parts of successful wasabi cultivation. Instead of trying to accelerate growth with fertilizers or intense watering, they concentrate on maintaining a calm and balanced environment. Consistent shade protects the plant from excessive sunlight. Steady moisture ensures the roots never dry out, while cool temperatures prevent stress during hot seasons. When these conditions remain stable, the plant can focus entirely on slow, steady development. Over time, the rhizome thickens and begins to form the recognizable stem used in cooking. The longer the plant grows under ideal conditions, the better the flavor becomes. This slow development allows the plant to build the complex compounds that give real wasabi its distinctive sharpness and aroma. Another interesting detail is that farmers often remove older leaves during the growth cycle. This encourages the plant to focus its energy on rhizome development instead of supporting too much leaf growth. Removing damaged leaves also improves airflow around the plant. By maintaining patience and consistency, farmers ensure that the plant reaches full maturity without stress. The result is a high-quality rhizome with the flavor and texture that chefs around the world value. Harvesting the wasabi rhizome. When the plant reaches maturity, the most valuable part is the rhizome, the thick green stem that grows just above the roots. This stem is the part used to create authentic wasabi paste. A mature rhizome typically grows 15 to 20 centimeters long and has a firm, textured surface. Farmers begin harvesting by gently loosening the soil around the plant using small hand tools. Care must be taken during this process because the roots and rhizome are delicate. Instead of pulling the plant directly from the soil, farmers carefully lift it while supporting the base of the stem. This prevents damage that could affect the quality of the harvest. After removing the plant, the roots are trimmed, and the rhizome is washed to remove soil particles. Fresh wasabi is traditionally grated using a very fine grater made from shark skin or ceramic. This method creates a smooth paste that releases the plant's natural aromatic compounds. Unlike powdered or imitation wasabi, freshly grated wasabi has a unique flavor that is both sharp and slightly sweet. Interestingly, freshly grated wasabi has a very short flavor window. The sharp aroma and heat peak within about 15 minutes after grating, which is why chefs prefer to prepare it immediately before serving. After that time, the flavor begins to fade as the volatile compounds dissipate. This delicate flavor profile is what makes authentic wasabi so special. It provides a clean, bright heat that enhances food rather than overpowering it. Because the rhizome takes nearly 2 years to develop, each harvest represents a long period of careful cultivation. Using the whole plant, Japanese farmers rarely waste any part of the wasabi plant. While the rhizome is the most valuable portion, the leaves, stems, and even the flowers are also edible and widely used in traditional cooking. Young wasabi leaves have a mild, peppery flavor that is much gentler than the rhizome. These leaves are often chopped and added to salads or mixed with rice dishes to provide a subtle spicy note. Because the leaves grow quickly, they can be harvested periodically without harming the plant's development. The stems also have culinary value. In many Japanese kitchens, the stems are lightly pickled or sautéed with vegetables to create flavorful side dishes. Their crisp texture and mild spice make them a versatile ingredient. During certain seasons, the wasabi plant produces small white flowers. These flowers are edible and sometimes used as a garnish or lightly fried in tempura. Their delicate appearance and subtle flavor make them a unique addition to seasonal dishes. Using the entire plant allows farmers to maximize the value of every harvest. Instead of relying solely on the rhizome, growers can harvest leaves and stems throughout the plant's life cycle. This provides additional food while the rhizome continues developing underground. This philosophy reflects a broader principle in traditional farming. Nothing should go to waste. By using every part of the plant, farmers reduce waste while creating multiple products from a single crop. Over time, this efficient approach makes wasabi farming more sustainable and productive. Even small backyard growers can benefit from this mindset, turning each plant into a continuous source of flavorful ingredients. Growing wasabi may seem impossible at first, but the truth is much simpler. The plant doesn't require magical soil or rare equipment. What it needs is the right environment. When farmers recreate the cool, shaded conditions of mountain valleys, even small backyard gardens can support healthy wasabi plants. With shade, steady moisture, clean water, and patience, one of the world's most valuable crops can grow quietly in a corner of the garden.